What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Atlantic Files, the number one podcast on the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your host, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Dennis Clausen, and we got Mike coming a little bit later. But what's going on, Dennis? What's up? What's up?
Hi, Alex. How are you?
I'm good. I'm chilling. How about you?
Yeah, we're hanging in there.
Yeah.
Week one of NFL season, so it's we got a big Thursday night game coming up, and before we know it, NBA training camp's gonna start, and it's a good time of year.
I've seen multiple teams on their social media talking about how many days until training camp starts, so that's nice to see. We got Tyler in the building.
What it is, I wanted to do that thing, they go burr, 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 that thing. Like I want to do that thing when Tyler comes on.
I gotta figure out how to do a soundboard and stuff at some point. That would be great. And Tyler said, "Let's go football."
I know, Tyler. I wouldn't be opposed to a soundboard. I just have a feeling like it would just get way overboard because there's so many cool sounds and shit. Like I just wouldn't want it to take over the podcast.
True. We'd have to do very minimal use of that. We can't spam the same noise over and over and over again.
Right.
But maybe you could do Go ahead.
So maybe we'll have Mike do the soundboard because he contributes absolutely nothing anyway. So
I was gonna say maybe anytime Mike comes on, we play a fart noise or something.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So what the
hell? Exactly. And for all those people, so we apparently ruffled a lot of feathers with Giannis, with our Giannis video the last few days.
That's an understatement.
I did not know that all these people would think that we're sitting here trying to say Giannis isn't a good player. Because apparently there's a lot of people who think that's what we were trying to say.
Well, I was going to wait to the end of the show, but for my Whatchu Got segment, because I've actually prepared a statement in response to the Giannis Antetokounmpo backlash that we've gotten over the last week.
Okay, well let's save that for that. We'll save.
Oh, we're saying that's my Whatchu Got segment. It's a heartfelt statement that I plan on releasing in response to the public outcry of our discussion regarding the two-time MVP.
Oh, yeah, because, let's be real, people. We don't think Giannis is a bad player. We don't think that, Giannis has to do all sorts of things just to be good and everything. Look, we still think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be one of the best teams in the entire league and the entire conference. As of right now, according to BovadaSportsbook.com, the Milwaukee Bucks are the leading odds getter in the Central Division to win, and they're also top 3 in the Eastern Conference, and on top of that, they're top 5 to win the NBA championship. So we're not trying to say all this crazy stuff that everyone makes it out to be.
No. And if I offended anybody last week, I'm very sorry.
Yes. None of this is meant to be offensive. We're just
from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. Because I also saw somebody... All right, we'll talk about this later. We could go into a lot about this.
Oh,
we got more pressing news here. We finally had the Donovan Mitchell trade go down. He is not going to the Knicks. He's going to the Cavs, as Dennis actually predicted. You can see that on our YouTube as well. It's on our YouTube Shorts. It's on our Instagram Reels, all that kind of stuff.
Which goes to prove that I'm more than just good looks and great hair.
Exactly. So he went to Cleveland it was 3 unprotected first-round picks, 2 pick swaps, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, And who am I missing? I believe it was one more person.
Agbaji.
Yes, Agbaji.
And let me. I'm sorry, but over the past couple of weeks, all you heard from all these major media outlets was the Knicks, the Knicks, the Knicks. Ad nauseum, they were talking about the Knicks, but God damn it, you heard it here first where he was going. We called it.
That's true. That's true. And we even talked about the centerpiece of it. We talked about Colin Sexton being the centerpiece of the trade from the Cavs' perspective.
And what did I say? Did I not bring up his contract?
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, we want our respect. Nobody even said anything about the Cavaliers.
Nope, that's true. They snuck right in there. I mean, there was even talks of Brooklyn and Miami, and there was a couple others that snuck in there. I think even the Wizards apparently were in there for some reason.
But nobody said the Cavs.
No. And to be honest, they traded what? Two guys that, well, one, a rookie that hasn't even played for them yet. The other, Colin Sexton, that really wasn't even in their plans anymore. Markkanen, who is pretty expendable from their point of view, especially when you have guys like Jared Allen and Mobley, and then you have Kevin Love off the bench. Like, he becomes expendable, especially with his contract. And you also keep Darius Garland, you keep Karis LeVert, you keep Okoro, like, you keep all those guys, and you add Donovan Mitchell. I mean,
well, it's funny how that worked out now, because now apparently Utah is planning to build their team around the three guys that they got from Cleveland. So they're looking to still unload Bogdanovich, who there's been some rumblings that the Suns are very interested in Bogdanovich, and rightfully so, because he's a great player. Jordan Clarkson's probably going to be on the move. And I almost lost my mind when I heard this Lakers willing to give up Russ and one of their coveted 27 or 29 first round draft picks for Mike Conley.
Yeah, that's because if we're being real, if the Lakers give up any of those picks, those most likely are going to be pretty good picks, because by the time it hits 27, 28, 29, most of this team either isn't going to be there, or they're going to be retired, or they're going to be just getting hurt.
I mean,
so like
they're getting hurt now anyway, so you might as well.
That's true too. So if you're trading that just to get Mike Conley, who himself gets hurt all the time.
I mean, Mike Conley, I've never seen a guy who has been on the injury report for a 2-year span for the same ailment, and I'm talking his hamstring. Every time that guy's on the injury report, it's his hamstring, and he misses a lot of time. He was a great player for the Grizzlies, super all-star, very talented player. He's just getting old, and all this Russ hate that still Russell Westbrook continues to get, all this negative publicity and all this overinflated bullshit about how he's not a good player and how he turns the ball over and blah, blah, blah. It's just disgusting to me. I have never seen a guy like who's so talented get disrespected at this level.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's crazy to me, because now I'm not one of the biggest Russell Westbrook fans. Like, I'll admit that. I'm not a huge Westbrook guy. But the fact that people are writing him off now as like super washed and can't help a team and will never change and never does this, like, that's just not not right. Like it's not correct at all. And I mean, a lot of people said the same thing when Houston traded for Russ. They thought there's no way Russ and Harden could have coexisted on the same team anymore. But honestly, the Houston team was decent. They were 44-28. I mean, they finished with a 4 seed. The only thing that sucks is Russ did get hurt that season. He only played 57 games. But like, there's a lot of things that Russ can still do and can still do to help a team. It's just, can you count on Russ to be a number one option anymore? Probably not.
I very disagree. Strongly disagree.
I don't think you can count on him to be a number one option and then have a successful team.
That's fair.
He can be a number one option, but the team's not going to be that great. But if he's your number 2 or number 3 option, and like it's agreed upon, and you start to draw up an offense that makes it that way, I think Russ can be a very good piece on a championship team.
Well, everybody's always talking about, the turnover numbers. His turnovers were down. We've talked about that. His 3-point shooting is never... I mean, my whole argument, though, is how come I can't bash Giannis Antetokounmpo on his 3-point shooting, but then yet when people bash Russell Westbrook, all they're talking about is how he can't shoot from 3-point. Like, is there not... Like, and I love Giannis. Like, right. I think he's a fantastic player. But how come I can't criticize him when it's likely the same people who are criticizing Russ because he turns the ball over and he can't shoot from 3? Like, it's just crazy to me. What Russell Westbrook does bring, though, that the Lakers sorely need is that 57 games he had with the Rockets was a rarity because that motherfucker is the most durable guy. You're not going to see a guy as LeBron was very durable up until the past couple of years ago, which is understandable because he's getting older. But LeBron is durable as shit, and so is Russell Westbrook. So I don't understand why people can't recognize how good this guy is. Like, he's still good.
Agreed. Out of his 14 seasons, only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them were less than 70 games.
And it was probably like not even like far below 70.
No, one was like 67, one was 65. The only two that were considerably below were the 46 games in 13-14 and the 57 in Houston.
All right, but for a guy who puts out a lot of miles, he had the ball in his hands a ton. For a guy to be that durable and that healthy pretty much all the time.
Right.
And he's a good teammate. Like, you don't hear him saying anything about, every once in a while you might hear something, but it's usually about an opposing player.
Yep. And so out of the possible 1,148 games that he could have played in his 14 seasons, he's played 1,021 of them.
Okay. I mean,
he's on the floor a lot.
I just want everybody to just stop with the Russell Westbrook hate because it's driving me nuts.
Oh, and then the fact that the 2K gave him a 78?
That makes me kind of not want to buy the game, even though I'm going to. But
Tobias Harris is an 82. You're telling me that Russell Westbrook is worse than Tobias Harris? And I like Tobias Harris. I'm not saying Tobias Harris is a bad player, but Russell Westbrook's not worse than him.
Russell Westbrook, if you're gonna okay, let's put him like an 86, an 85. Okay, I could see that, but a 78.
At the very lowest, he should be like an 83.
And that's kind of low, but a 78. Right. But yeah, I mean, give me a break. What has this guy ever done?
I know.
I mean, statistically, he was down this year, but guess what? He's playing with LeBron James. You don't think that's going to impact his usage? You don't think that's going to impact how many points he scores and how many, come on.
But like you were saying, his turnovers were the lowest they've been since 2013-14.
What do you have?
And
4?
then he had
4.7, I think.
3.8.
3. I mean,
3.8.
he had the previous season? What, 7?
4.8.
Okay, that was way
a whole
off.
more turnover per game.
Right.
But then, even shooting percentage wise,
Where did I get
been
7 from? I'm crack.
I don't know. It's been one of his best shooting percentages, other than the 1920 year with Houston, since 17-18. He shot 44.4% from the field.
And then what did he shoot from 3? 32%?
29.8.
Okay. Giannis shot less than that in the postseason.
Yeah.
Giannis shot less than 29% in the postseason.
Yep.
And
it was pretty bad.
And I got attacked when I said something like that, but yet that's the same argument that people have about Russell Westbrook is the turnovers, which is totally stupid because his turnovers are down. And then we're talking about his 3-point percentage when, okay, he shoots 29%, but the guy can finish. Same thing that Giannis. I mean, Giannis is not a good 3-point shooter. Would it help if they shot better, both of them? Of course it would.
Right.
Take my fucking comments out of... Never mind. I'm getting a little fired up here.
Oh, looks like we got the man, the myth, the legend. Mike is here.
What up?
Mike is back from NASA.
Can you guys hear me?
From Mars. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
He looks like he's on an episode of Ghost Hunters.
I know. I feel like...
Mike, is there any spirits in there?
I don't know,
you got to yell at him like Ghost Adventures.
All right, let's stop. Mike, communicate to the spirits. No, not a Jewish thing. Like,
I gotta say, I did the horror for the first time this past weekend. It was pretty fun. Yeah.
You did a horror?
Half Jew and you've never done the horror?
No, I've never been to a legit Jewish wedding.
Malachaka. Malachach.
The cantor guy, that dude had some pipes. He could sing. I mean, probably not, but maybe we could just throw it in there for fun.
You gotta sneak it in there. Like, the wedding will be 1/4 Jewish, and you gotta sneak it in there.
That will be the only... That, and then, breaking the glass. And that's it. That's the only Jew part.
That's what Katie wants to do. She's like, I want to break the glass.
I mean, that part is pretty fun, too, so I get it. But no, going back to Donovan Mitchell, we got really far away from Donovan Mitchell.
And I'm sorry I got so irritated.
It's okay.
And it's not the criticism of me. It's the criticism of Russell Westbrook that gets me fired up because I'm sick of it.
Right. Oh, yeah, I feel you. I get
You're
it.
on mute, dumbass. Perfect.
Mike,
we should be the whole show should be like this with Mike. This is the smartest Mike's ever been. Hey, pal. The poltergeist in there should put him on mute for a second.
No, I forgot I was connected to Bluetooth, and I was playing with my AirPods case that's in my hand, and I opened it, and it connected to the Bluetooth. So I didn't hear your comeback to me saying what I said.
No,
we didn't hear you say what
pal.
you said either. So,
no.
Oh, we said you were
neither
right.
party could hear that.
So you didn't hear what I said?
No.
I said that Dennis is the biggest Russell Westbrook fan, both literally and figuratively.
Good one. Okay.
Oh God! But anyway, Mike, what are your thoughts on the whole Donovan Mitchell trade? What do you think is so here? Well, before you start, too, this is a question after you're done. Does this make Cleveland a top 3 seed in the East, and does it make them a championship contender?
Yes to both, and what a shocker! If we go back to before last season, who told you Cleveland was coming? Just like I told you Denver was coming. This guy. I'm 2 for 2. I don't miss. I'm like, Jacob deGrom on the mound. I'm like Tiger Woods in his late 20s. I do not miss. And I get my winning percentage is great, and I'm just proud as a early Cleveland bandwagoner to see this wave coming and see them go put their chips in the middle for Donovan Mitchell, but they didn't put a ton they didn't gut their future because they got Mobley, Garland. I think they made a great move here, and I saw someone say, who was like a similar team that had two short guards in the backcourt.
You talking about Portland back when they had CJ?
Yeah. So they were talking about Portland. They're like, oh, well, Portland tried this with CJ and Dame, and it didn't work. But what the Cavaliers have is what Portland didn't have. And it's two interior rim-protecting big men in Mobley and Jared Allen that, okay, you get past our two little guards, we have the Twin Towers down there that will block everything that comes their way. So I think Cleveland's set up for a big season. I think 60 wins is not out of the realm of possibility. I think they'll probably get like 54 wins, but I'm all in on the Cleveland Cavaliers for 2022, 2023.
And I mean, think of too who they have on the bench. They got Kevin Love on the bench. They have Okoro who can play. They have Ricky Rubio when he comes back from his knee injury. He'll add something, especially if he makes it back for the postseason. So they're pretty deep.
That's true.
And Mike's 100% right though when he says that, like, when you look at the Blazers when they had, CJ and Lillard, they didn't have Jared Allen and Mobley under the basket. You kidding me? I mean,
no, that's true. I mean, the best different. They had was Nurkic.
You also didn't mention they have Karis LeVert.
Yeah, but I mean, I honestly think that like LeVert is the latest things I was reading about LeVert was that they're not in a rush to sign him to an extension, or he's not a priority for them, and he's a good player, but I mean, he's street clothes. He's not dependable. Now, before Donovan Mitchell got there were rumblings that LeVert was going to be a 30-minute per game guy, and which I don't know if his body would be able to handle that. But I mean, it's possible. I think the best thing that could happen is they're talking about LeVert coming off the bench, and I think that would be fantastic for him.
True. I mean, him off the bench would be a great bench piece to have too.
I mean, if he was a bench guy, he's a Sixth Man of the Year candidate right there for sure.
Oh, definitely.
It sounds like Dennis wants to acquire Karis LeVert in a trade involving Pascal Siakam. That's what I'm hearing about. All the LeVert love for fantasy basketball. What is going on? Nothing changed here. I don't know why this light's getting brighter. I haven't noticed anything.
It's Ghost Adventures. I'm telling you.
Ghost, leave me alone.
I do not claim this energy, but I do not. I still don't think Cleveland is a top 3 seed this year. I also don't think they're going to. I think their ceiling this year is Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't think they're even going to get there either. And right now, according to Bovada, they're 6th in odds for Eastern Conference winner. So I'm not that far off in terms of the odds makers as well. So
Vegas doesn't always know everything.
I'm just saying, right now they have the Celtics, then the Nets, then the Bucks, then the Sixers, then the Heat, then the Cavs.
No cap.
But I just don't see them right now. Well, I mean, we haven't seen Mitchell gel with any of these guys just yet. But also, when was the last time Mitchell played with a wing player and or guard that is at the level of Darius Garland? I don't think it's been ever.
Well, Mike Conley, from a career standpoint, was like decently close to Garland, but not obviously when he got to Utah.
I mean, he's better. I mean, career-wise, he's better.
I mean, right now, yeah.
Like, Conley in his prime was close to the level of a player as Garland, but when he got to Utah, he was past his prime.
Right. And I guess the best guard that, like, in the time that was at Utah and played with Donovan Mitchell, I guess it would be like Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, probably.
So we haven't even seen what he's like with a point guard that can actually run the offense and do all of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, Mike Conley still can run an offense. Like, he's still a floor general type of point guard, but not one with a higher usage of Darius Garland. On top of that, we've seen him play with Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert was like all defense. So like with Jared Allen, that's probably like a good comparison, but we haven't seen him play with a guy like Evan Mobley.
Mike, are you getting possessed? What's going on?
What?
The way you're moving your face. Does the spirit got you?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
And on top of that, Felix here said the trade makes the Cavs super. Felix. The same trade would have killed any depth the Knicks had. I agree with that.
What did he say? I was so preoccupied by what how do you say that last name? Baptiste?
Baptiste.
The E is silent.
That's a cool name.
Felix is one of my guys back from Basketball Society. He's a Knicks fan, but he lives up in New York.
It's better than BJ Boyer, I'll tell you that. That guy was delusional.
BJ's easily the biggest Lakers fan I've ever known.
Yeah,
I gotta give him props.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with BJ. Know what I mean?
Yep, we know what you mean.
We know what you mean. But either way, I agree with Felix
BJ
here.
Armstrong.
The fact that the Knicks would have had no depth at all if they made a trade like this. On top of not having any picks, and so therefore
BJ's
their future would have been
club.
wrecked. BJ's Wholesale Club is great. I love there.
No, Costco's where it's at.
Oh, I have a Costco membership before BJ's, but BJ's is still good.
I'm going to get a Costco membership. Just go drive down there and get a hot dog and soda every day for my lunch. You save a ton of money.
I mean,
I'm still saying BJ's are way better.
I mean, I was a Sam's Club guy first, but
I saw somebody say Sam's Club is Walmart with a membership.
I mean, it kind of is, except like even cheaper Walmart.
Yeah, but there's nothing like stopping at like a BJ's and then, you go to make a BJ run and then get a sandwich.
What?
You just cut out big time there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I said there's nothing like a BJ run and then you get a sandwich afterward.
You can go to any store and get a sandwich afterward. I'm not really picking up what you're putting down here.
Of course you're not. Felix.
But yeah, Felix said he has to keep all the Knicks analysis objective so they don't break his heart. I get it. I'm the same way with the Sixers.
Mr. Baptiste.
Baptiste.
I like it the way I say it better. It's great.
Okay. 3 players and 5 picks. At that point, they just have to hope another star wants to join Spida. Yes. Essentially true. You would have to hope someone else comes over in free agency, or you'd have to hope you can get somebody actually good in return for a Julius Randle trade, because Julius Randle's going to be the one that's holding that team back. Which, I mean, can segue us to our next
topic.
topic.
You besmirch Julius Randle.
I mean, am I wrong? I like Julius Randle. He's done great for my fantasy team. But am I wrong?
But you can't trade him anywhere.
Yeah, because people keep thinking of Julius Randle in terms of actual NBA use, and I'm like, look, he's not going to help the Knicks win a championship, but in fantasy terms, he was the number 4 power forward in the entire league.
Yeah, maybe he was depressed.
He's LeBron.
I'm just saying. Everyone that has tried to offer me a trade for Randle, they offer me somebody who scores less than him. Like, considerably less.
All right, I'll make you a trade for Randle.
If you say so.
Yeah, so maybe he was depressed last season. Isn't that the excuse everybody uses these days?
Oh, God. I mean, Ben Simmons used it.
Which I just need to call attention to the fact that last week we're talking about John Wall and his depression and his dark days, and you were all, John, oh, I feel so bad for him. But yet Ben Simmons says that you're all over his ass.
Because Simmons didn't say shit until it came to the point where he had to nut up or shut up and come to practice and games and stuff.
Why does he need to disclose the fact that he's suffering from a mental ailment?
All right, I got a trade offer for you.
Because he's on a contract.
So is John Wall.
Yeah, but those teams said, sure, we don't want you to play. So they didn't care.
It'd be nice if there's a little sympathy. You have no sympathy. You have sympathy for John Wall, but you know what? Julius Randle, maybe he was going through a tough time.
I have sympathy for Julius Randle. I'm just saying, if that trade went through, then Julius Randle would be the guy holding him back.
All right, I got a trade offer for you.
Oh, God, here we go.
I'll give you Miles Bridges for Julius Randle.
Hell no. He might not even play in the league anymore.
I'll give you Karis LeVert and a second-round pick for Julius Randle.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
terrible,
Eat shit,
too.
Mike.
I'm done with this.
Yeah.
All right, so segueing us to the next topic. Who should the Knicks target now if Mitchell's not, since he's not on the table anymore? I saw someone talk about Gilgeous-Alexander because with Chet getting hurt, now the Thunder are going to be terrible yet again. And
They're going to be terrible
Gilgeous-Alexander...
anyways.
Oh, I agree, but now Gilgeous-Alexander is starting to like fall out of the timeline of the team because, I mean, he's been on the team for a few seasons now. I think, yeah, last year, this is going to be his 5th season. He's going to be he's 24 right now, going to be 25 at the end of the season.
Wait, going to be 19 to play on the Thunder?
I mean, pretty much. The rest of the starting 5 is like under 21.
Fuck the Knicks. I'm so sick of this shit. He's not going to the Knicks. The Knicks don't deserve anything.
Oh, I'm not saying they deserve it. I'm just saying who should they target?
A new owner.
I mean, that's a good point too. So I just want to show
Nobody
you.
wants to play there. Everybody hates it there.
I agree.
It's a circus.
But I just want to show you how young this team truly is and why they could trade Gilgeous-Alexander. Look how many people... There's 2 players that are over 3 years experience.
One of them is Derek Favors.
And the other one's Mike Muscala.
No, time out, but hold on. Scotty Hobson has 2 years of experience, but he was born in 1989.
Yes.
Paul Watson was born in 94, so that's misleading. You gotta go by birth date.
But no, I'm going years in the league because I mean, yes, they're technically older, but
like, Scotty Hobson is older than Derek Favors.
True. But like,
if he was born in 94, how old is he?
28.
Carry the 1, 6.
Carry the 1.
12.
You really have to do carry the 1.
I don't fucking know.
He's my age. I was born in 94.
Damn, oh wait, Dennis is older than me.
But I'm just saying,
these guys' names I can't even pronounce.
Exactly.
Racist.
I mean, Gorgeous Colot. Oh, no,
He's Greek.
Rookie. Damn it, that was my sleeper rookie. I forgot to go pick up.
Oh, you can't even pronounce his name though.
Lugens Dort is probably like 27, going on 50.
Dort actually is older. Oh wait, no, he's born in 99. So he's only what? 23? 24?
He's too old. They got to get rid of him.
23.
The Thunder are what Naz Perovic in our league strives to be.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, so Gilgeous-Alexander could definitely be a target. Felix here says SGA is a good target for the Knicks. I would say Lillard, but the Blazers seem like they want to be competitive, and he's older. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if Lillard would really... A, I don't know if Portland would do that. B, I don't know if Lillard would kind of, really fit like the Knicks timeline either, because now Brunson, RJ, Randall, right now are the big three, and they're 27 and younger. So
I mean, who are the Knicks gonna trade for Gilgeous-Alexander? Evan Fournier?
They'll probably trade a few of their young guys. Like they could probably trade like Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes, Jericho Sims.
The reason, apparently, the rumblings that the reason a Donovan Mitchell trade didn't go through is because they weren't willing to part with Quentin Grimes.
But I also saw they weren't willing to give them the amount of picks they wanted either. Like, the Knicks were only willing to give up 2 unprotected picks.
I mean, they don't know what they're doing with the draft picks anyway, so who cares?
I know, I agree, but I'm just saying they were only willing to give up 2, and that's why Cleveland kind of won out, because Danny Ainge wanted as many draft picks as possible and as many unprotected picks as possible. So that's why Cleveland pretty much won out on top of that. But I mean...
Yeah, but if you...
Go ahead.
At the time that this was going on, I'm sure they didn't know that Cleveland was willing to swoop in and make this kind of deal, because had they known that this type of deal was going down, they wouldn't even fucking look in the next direction.
I mean, I agree.
You're going to tell me like the Jazz knew that the Cavs were willing to trade Colin Sexton? They no way in hell they know that, because they were sitting there waiting for trying to negotiate their way around Evan Fournier.
But like they were also willing to give up like RJ Barrett and everything. So it wasn't just like they weren't just considering like the players themselves, and they didn't know Cleveland was going to give up those picks either. I agree with that. But the moment Cleveland came in and said, "Hey, here's those picks," then they go back to New York and they're like, "Well, they're offering us this." And New York is essentially saying no, especially after that extension.
I mean,
and Felix says here the Knicks package was definitely better than Cleveland. Utah would have gotten RJ and picks plus a couple other guys like Obi Toppin.
Felix, come on, man.
Come on, Baptiste.
I mean, RJ Barrett and Obi Toppin plus picks
is
better than what Cleveland gave them.
No way.
Oh,
I'll take Colin Sexton 1 billion times over RJ Barrett.
Alex.
I don't agree with this one.
1.5 Jews of us know that.
I was about to say, this one I do not agree with.
No, that's okay.
We usually agree, Dennis, but I don't agree with this one. Especially because I saw one that said RJ, Obi, and it was another, I think it was like either Deuce McBride or somebody like that, plus the two unprotected picks, another protected pick, and I think it was like maybe a pick swap or something like that. Something to that effect.
Can we talk about that? My bad.
No, I was just saying, so I definitely think that is better. And Felix says RJ Toppin and picks is absolutely better.
I agree.
No, it's not, Felix.
Who do you trust more? The guy who stole his tapestry from his daughter, or the guy that has, it looks like he's on the set of ESPN over there with his Funko Pops and Wheaties box?
I just think Colin Sexton is better than RJ Barrett is.
Colin Sexton puts up empty stats.
Okay, I'm not getting to I'm not getting into analytics with you.
But I don't necessarily disagree that RJ Barrett might not be as good as Colin Sexton, but then past that, Obi Toppin is definitely a better asset to get back than Markkanen. And then Agbaji, you don't know what he's going to be.
Agbaji is not going to be anything special. He's a 4-year college player that in his senior year finally played, broke out. He's not. He's nothing special.
All right, well, let's put it this way, though. Neither of those deals are overshadowing the other significantly.
What was the other deal? Oh,
a deal with three unprotected, 2 pick swaps, and Markkanen, Agbaji.
RJ Barrett's way better than any of those players.
Okay, never mind. I'm not doing.
I do see this point here by Felix he says you're getting all these swaps and everything from Cleveland, who's going to make the playoffs every year, versus the Knicks, who you would probably be getting high picks from, because even if they had Mitchell, their depth would be pretty terrible. And you probably would be getting better picks from the Knicks than you would be from Cleveland.
Yeah, but they didn't. I mean, the Knicks. If the Knicks would have gotten Donovan Mitchell and Brunson, they would have been a playoff contending team.
They would be, but they wouldn't be as good of a team as Cleveland is now after the deal.
Yeah, but with the way Thibodeau runs his starting guys, I mean, obviously we know bench depth isn't really a thing for Tibbs. So
yeah, but it's not like rest of their starting lineup's all that great. Julius Randle, okay. Mitchell Robinson, okay.
Yeah, but look what Donovan Mitchell did in Utah.
With Rudy Gobert, who's the best defensive big in the league.
I mean, that is true.
Now you like Rudy Gobert all of a sudden?
I've always liked Rudy Gobert.
I've always said that Rudy Gobert is a good defender. I just think he's trash on offense.
Right. So when you look at the Jazz offense, it was all Donovan Mitchell. I mean, you'll get you and then the number 2 best option on the scoring end was Bogdanovich.
I mean,
the guy was doing it basically by himself.
But they also had the 6th man of the year and the defensive player of the year.
Yeah, but look at what Jordan Clarkson did last season. He took a significant step back. And okay, all right, you guys are right. Thank you.
Listen, Dennis, we understand that you're approaching 40. And you still think, this is the NBA's played without a 3-point line. We understand. But you need to step into a new age, analytics and everything else, and understand that you're wrong. You're just wrong.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're
right. Felix just adds in here, Mitchell plus Brunson gets you the play-in. Mitchell, Garland, and company probably gets you the 4 seed.
Well, especially when the company's Evan Mobley, who's a generational talent.
Well, according to Bovada, Cleveland's going to be a 6 seed.
I mean, that's true, but that is at least... I mean,
the money hasn't updated yet.
I mean, but also according to Bovada, right now, the Knicks are at plus 5,500. The Cavs are up to plus 1,500. And even after that, the Atlanta Hawks are only at plus 2,500, and they had a pretty damn good offseason. So
I mean,
I don't think I'd put the Knicks up there.
You guys are acting like RJ Barrett is so much better than Colin Sexton is. You're out of your mind.
I'm not saying it's just those two put together. I'm saying RJ plus the rest of that deal is better than Sexton plus the rest of that deal.
I mean, it was because Obi Toppin's added into it?
And because the Knicks picks are probably going to be better than the Cavs picks.
Well, you never know. I'd rather get the better player out of the deal. In my opinion, I think Sexton's a better player.
I mean, I see where you're coming from, and I get
Thank
it.
you.
I get it.
Okay.
So, that being said, let's move on here. I will touch on this because apparently people got a little butthurt about our Rudy Gobert video a bit too. Rudy Gobert
Everybody's so sensitive.
I know. Rudy Gobert actually had some pretty good post moves in EuroBasket. He showed off a fadeaway. He showed off some backing a couple people down and putting in a bucket. But one of the funniest things I think they showed FIBA's Instagram account or something talked about, the 2 stars gave us a show, and it was Luka Doncic 51 points or 49 or whatever he had, and then it was versus Rudy Gobert 18 points 10 rebounds. I was like, oh yeah, 18 points is a real show from Rudy Gobert. I was like, if that's a show, I guess you're not expecting all that much. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the EuroBasket though.
No, I have, but that format is so damn hard to understand.
Yeah, I agree.
And we got the AmeriCup going on right now. It's another big deal.
Yeah.
The NBA, the USA team is comprised of some stallions, I tell you that.
Isn't it all G League guys?
Yes. G League, and there's a couple ex-NBA guys on there. Like Jody Meeks is on the team.
Right. 49-year-old Jody Meeks is there.
Hold on, I got it. USA Basketball AmeriCup roster. Here we go. There's a couple people in here that I was just like, dang, I haven't heard that name in a hot minute.
I got the same feeling reading that I do when I watch the Big Three.
I agree with you on there, actually.
Gary Clark, Norris Cole.
Norris Cole was a name I was like, wow. Haven't heard that.
I forgot he was alive.
Actually, I forgot about Cheatham too. And then Frank Mason, forgot about him. Patrick McCaw, multiple-time NBA champion.
Yeah. Anthony Lamb.
There's good old Jody Meeks.
Jody.
Jeremy Pargo. There's a name that has been around the block.
Frank Mason. Oh, hold on. Steven Zimmerman, I remember him.
Yep. And and then it's just the coaching staff as well. But yeah, there's some old names on there.
It's an impressive roster.
Norris Cole's only 33.
Yeah. He wasn't that old when he pretty much was out the league.
In NBA years, always 76.
Exactly. But speaking of EuroBasket, Jokic, Giannis, and Luka have all been dominating, to nobody's surprise. Luka just put up, I think it was the second most in EuroBasket history. That one against France, he scored 47. That's what it was.
Can I talk about something without I do want to call attention to the fact that Giannis did sit out a couple games with a knee issue. Thank you.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. But also, like a couple games ago, Giannis also put up 41 points. So he came back and at least put in 41.
Dennis is so gun-shy right now because of the hate that he's afraid to be himself and say what he wants.
I ain't afraid. You kidding me?
That was the most thumbs down on a video we've ever gotten. I didn't even know people did the thumbs down. I thought they just wouldn't vote if they didn't like it. Oh, man,
no, see the thing is with the internet community is they'd rather do a thumbs down than I mean, everybody's smarter than everybody and everybody sucks and it's a cesspool of negativity.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, so yep, Luka. I mean, Luka's been fucking amazing. Again, to nobody's surprise.
And also at the Acropolis tournament, Giannis was out with a back issue. Does this not bother anybody? Does this not bother? Is this not alarming, or am I off base by just even bringing now? Not suggesting that he's a bad player because of this, but I mean, I was bringing up his durability.
No, you were. And I mean, it is true. If he's hurt, then Milwaukee's out. Like, they're done.
I mean, is there not a problem that the guys overseas right now, the Bucks have to send some staff over there to keep an eye on him and make sure he doesn't get hurt. Then he gets a back injury during the finals of the Acropolis tournament, and then has to have an MRI, and then is now in EuroBasket and hurts has a knee ailment. I mean, we're not Bucks fans are okay with this or not concerned at all.
I mean, probably concerned, but at the same time, he's like the best thing to come out of Greece in a very long time.
I understand that, and he's a great player, fantastic player. And I've had the same criticism though for Luka. I mean, right. Mike, I was talking to you like an hour ago. What did I was bitching about Luka always getting an ankle injury or a hamstring, ankle. Like Luka's hurt more than he should be as well.
True. You
don't see LeBron getting hurt like that, like back in his younger days. And the guy that everybody loves to hate, Russell Westbrook, he certainly ain't getting hurt like that.
That is true. I mean, those are good points. I mean, hopefully we don't see other people get hurt during EuroBasket because, I mean, yeah, you always want to play for your country, win something for your country, especially if your country's not, always on the podium all the time. So obviously seeing guys like Giannis and Luka and Jokic and stuff doing this for their country is big time. But I also want to throw in there that the hero of Turkey, Furkan Korkmaz, got ejected from a game and then got attacked by the players from the other country, and security guards attacked him. And then came back the next game and had 11 points in his first 13 minutes of the game. And I'm pretty sure they ended up winning that game too. So Furkan Korkmaz for EuroBasket MVP.
So you know what the Sixers have to do? Just have somebody kick his ass, and then maybe he'll start doing something.
Exactly. Oh, God. So, speaking of the Sixers, though, Montrezl Harrell signs a 2-year deal with the Sixers. I really like that as a bench signing. Is he going to play that much in the playoffs? Probably not, because we've seen him not be able to stay in the playoffs a lot, but I like it.
And let's not forget, he is a former Sixth Man of the Year.
And who did he play for when he got Sixth Man of the Year?
Well, he's been on Charlotte, the Clippers.
Doc Rivers.
Yeah, in L.A., right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's back with Doc Rivers again.
Former Rocket, though. I will throw that out there.
That is true. I saw that they're still collecting former Rocket players.
Did you see the update? Like, I saw something on Twitter the other day that, like, apparently now Ben Simmons is, like, a lethal shooter.
No, I did not see that. Oh, God.
Dennis just pulls out a new drink every week. One day it's a smart water, the next day it's a Propel.
I love drinks.
Gatorade.
But when they said Ben Simmons was a lethal shooter, was it just like Call of Duty?
No. I said something at work today what Dennis would probably love. I said, you know what I could really go for?
What?
And my coworker was like, what? And I was like, snow cone. We'll shaved ice, a blue raspberry drizzle. The mixes in and makes the flavor.
I fucking love snow cones.
That video that we put together of you talking about water ice still gets views and likes on TikTok.
Oh, I get likes on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't like you on YouTube. Only on TikTok.
In a couple of years, when Dava gets old enough to really go on social media, she's gonna come across the TikTok and be like, "Dad, what is this?"
Yeah, but I thought I had to do some stupid dance to get on TikTok. Apparently, all I got to do is talk about water ice.
I mean, yeah, you talked about water ice making your eyes roll back in your head, so
toe curler. Speaking of that, I follow Rita's.
Where is this going?
Who I will say we're not happy with them because we've reached out to them for sponsorship because we're such loyal Rita advocates and we didn't hear anything back. However, exactly. I will say that I was watching a Rita's video because unlike, Rita's might not support us, but I support Rita's, and they have a new it's a pumpkin with vanilla custard and then pumpkin custard flavored custard. Looks pretty fucking good.
Say custard one more time.
Custard.
I'm actually a big pumpkin guy, so I would try it.
See, I only like pumpkin when they're not doing it on July 15th.
Oh, I agree. It shouldn't be in the summer. I'm only going to get it in the fall.
But these people are like, all right, pumpkin season here. I'm like, well, it's July 8th. Why are we bringing out pumpkin this early?
Well, it's just like they start putting Christmas stuff in the day after Halloween.
See, I'm okay with that because I want Christmas music on November 1st. I want the tree up. I'm all for that.
How are you for that, but not for the other thing?
Well, I mean, you would understand. You're half Jewish, so.
I celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, but you only celebrate Christmas 50% of what I do.
Oh, okay.
So, when it's all said and done, what we're going to do in my family is 8 days of Hanukkah. No, 8 days of Christmas.
I was about to say, I was like, isn't 8 days of Hanukkah what you normally do? 8 days of Christmas would be pretty great. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That would be nice.
Yeah,
I'd be down
I don't
for
know about that.
I mean, as long as I don't have to buy all those presents.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like the signing of Montrezl Harrell. According to Bovada, that puts the Sixers at 4th highest odds to be the Eastern Conference winner at plus 750. So, I mean, the odds keep going up for them in terms of that. So I'm down with that any day. But like I said, I don't think he necessarily is going to be that much of an impact on the playoffs because we've seen him kind of get, I mean, I've said this phrase many times, get game planned off the floor in the playoffs, and he's another guy that I think potentially could be game planned off the floor. So,
especially if he's high.
You know who doesn't get game planned off the floor? Nikola
Claxton does get game planned off the
floor.
Actually, no, you're right. He doesn't get game planned off the floor because Steve Nash doesn't even want him on the floor. Yeah. so he doesn't have to be game planned off the floor.
Nash doesn't know how to put together a game plan for him to be game planned off the
floor. Nico Claxton's usually grounded.
He gets game planned off the floor by his own coach, not the opposing coach.
Dennis, I'm going to be coming back and trying to reacquire him, so we'll talk.
What is going on with the lights?
I don't know.
But so last topic before the What You Got segment.
I don't got this week.
That's fine. I know Dennis does, and I have one too. But Shaq on his podcast was asked outside of the Golden State years for Kevin Durant, is he an abject failure because he hasn't been able to get back to that part outside of his Golden State years? And Shaq said, yeah, he's pretty much a failure because every time he has tried to be the guy, he has failed. He hasn't gotten to the championship.
First off, Shaq has a podcast?
Yes.
What's it called?
I think it's just called The Big Podcast.
Okay.
Something like that.
The book isn't closed yet on Kevin Durant for us to call him a failure. And he's going to win an NBA championship this year with the Nets, so I'll say no.
This year? I don't know about this year. Dennis?
I don't even know where to begin. But I want it to be known that I'm about to criticize Kevin Durant, so I'm just not picking on, international players. Okay. Shaq is 128,000% correct.
No.
Oh, okay. That's not where I thought you were going to go.
And I'm a Nets fan, so
he's Kevin Durant.
I mean, look at the way he's acted. I mean, he acts like a buffoon. And I'm not going to get into it because I am not talking about this tonight.
I mean, he does. I think he has more tweets sent back to haters than he has won playoff games.
Oh, 110.
I mean, he definitely does because he just tweets back to everybody. But
ran James Harden out of Brooklyn. Wasn't loyal, wanted to be traded off a team that paid him for an entire year to let him sit out and do nothing. Sticking up for his boy, who obviously doesn't care about the team. I mean, so yeah, 100%. Injury plagued.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about him outside of Golden State, I mean, he technically is he has failed. He has not won a championship. So he has not shown that he can be the guy and win a ring. The farthest he's gotten was with OKC, but that team was fucking stacked. And they still didn't win, by the way, but they got to the championship. So that is a good thing. But as Shaq said, you technically have to say he's a failure because he did not win the number one thing to win a championship outside of Golden State, where he was, in fact, not the guy. It was still Steph Curry. So
yeah,
I agree with Shaq.
100%.
We have it looks like a new viewer. I think he's a new viewer. I haven't seen him on here before. Wyro. What do y'all think about Pat Bev to the Lakers?
Or is that a silent Y like Batiste?
It could
Is it
be.
just
I'm not
Row?
Sure. But we actually talked about this last episode, but we can say, I mean, for the Lakers, it's a decent move. They need a defense. They need a leader. Pat Bev gives them a leader outside of LeBron.
You know why I like...
You can go.
Thanks, honey. You know why I like Patrick Beverley? Because did you see the reporter ask him about what it's like to play with, LeBron, and his response was amazing. He's amazing. I love Patrick.
He said,
Beverley.
"No, they're playing with me. I made the playoffs.
You're
didn't.
damn right." And you want to know something? That's that type of attitude, though, that's gonna, be really valuable to the Lakers because they're a team that certainly lacks toughness.
Okay, Pat Bev will give the Lakers everything that Pat Bev brings to the Lakers. He'll contribute off the court and in the locker room. On the court, he is past what he's not the same defender. First off, he's overrated as a defender. He's just a pest. He just basically throws his body into you with all his energy and plays defense that way. He brings nothing offensively. He's not going to help with floor spacing around LeBron, but he'll be a good, energy guy. Get the team out of like droughts or whatever you want to call it. Like when the team's starting to go on a bad run, like he'll bring energy. So he'll contribute, but in terms of like, he's not going to score for them. He's not really the good defensive player he used to be. He's decent, but he's not like what he used to be. So it's more name value. It's more like locker room value. It's like a step up from Udonis Haslem in the Heat. But I don't think it's a needle changing move.
He is an NBA play-in champion.
He is.
But I will say I agree with all those things about the locker room and everything about that. But he could technically be a floor spacer. I mean, his career 3-point percentage is 37.8, which isn't terrible.
And I think his highest was last year with Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, or the second highest.
No, actually last year was a down year for him for the 3-point percentage.
But his scoring was up. I think he was second highest in
Yes.
scoring. Okay.
Yes, scoring percentage was his highest since 2017-18. And that year he only played 11 games because he got hurt. But, last year he only shot 34% from three. But the year right before that with the Clippers, he shot 39.7%. And he has 4 seasons where he shot 39.7% or higher from three. And on top of that, last year was his highest number of assists per game. And he still had 1.2 steals and 0.9 blocks a game. He almost had a whole block per game. And I'm going to throw analytics at the analytics guy. He had 2.1 defensive box plus minus, which is his second highest of his whole career. The other highest being 1920 and the Clippers at 2.5. So he still has some actual on-court value to add. He does have some. I'm not saying he's contributing a ton, but he has some. And right now, according to Bovada, the Lakers are plus 750 to win the West, which is tied for 4th highest odds. So it's not terrible.
I just don't like Pat Bev. I think he's
I mean, I get it. You either love him or you hate him. There's no in between with Pat Bev. So.
I didn't really like him until I saw that comment, and then I'm like, yeah, he's great.
I agree. But so, the What You Got segment. Dennis, we talked about it right when we started the episode, and I know you have something ready for the What You Got. So
I was deeply troubled by all the negative feedback we received, so I prepared a statement regarding our take on Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
You're Greek now all of a sudden, Mike? So I would first like to congratulate not only the Milwaukee Bucks fans from around all over the world, but also the international basketball community for Giannis Antetokounmpo being named the highest-ranked player in this year's version of the NBA 2K series, the 24th installment. With that said, I'd like to call attention toward our discussion surrounding Gilbert Arenas' recent comments surrounding Mr. Antetokounmpo's needed improvement. First, and let me be clear, I have the utmost respect for Mr. Antetokounmpo and his numerous accomplishments over the years, including, but not limited to, multiple All-Star nominations, 2 consecutive MVP awards, and an NBA championship. Moreover, I recognize Mr. Antetokounmpo's contribution to the modern-day NBA and have thoroughly enjoyed watching him play throughout the years. However, I do feel my comments about him were taken out of context. Nevertheless, I stand firmly behind my comments, and while I recognize Mr. Antetokounmpo's talent level, I do not feel I was being overly critical by bringing attention to his 22% shooting from deep throughout last postseason, a percentage comprised of a 15.4% shooting effort throughout the quarterfinal series with the Chicago Bulls, a team that would have easily defeated them had they had Lonzo Ball, along with a slightly improved but equally disappointing 25% shooting from downtown during the conference semifinals against the mighty Boston Celtics. While he certainly was productive, the Bucks may have won another ring had Giannis been more efficient. In closing, I would like to go on record by stating I believe Giannis is by far a much better player than other highly touted American superstars, including J.T. Thor, Garrett Temple, Alfred Payton, and Rodney Hood, to name a few. I also have the utmost respect for many of the European greats who left their native land to pave the way for Giannis being in the league. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize the contributions of the following players. Boris Diaw, Darko Milicic, Chinese big man Ja Ali An, a.k.a. the chairman, Italian sharpshooter Andrea Bargnani, and Nigeria's own Michael Olowokandi. Thank you.
You forgot FK Udo.
Oh, he was. I wanted to name a few. So thank you. It was important for me to read that prepared statement for everybody.
Have you done that before? Because that was a really good prepared statement.
Actually, I was not ready for such a professional prepared statement.
Thank you.
I think Dennis is trying to audition for a speech at Alex's wedding.
Well, I would have been the best man.
True. If there was a little more time.
You have too much hair.
My whole argument, people, we know I'll say this. He's a great player. He's a fantastic player. We know how many points he scored in the postseason against the Celtics. We get it. However, my argument was efficiency and production are not the same things. Giannis shooting 22% throughout the postseason is not efficient. And to say that you're okay with that just because he scored 8 billion points, when if he would have made some more baskets, things would have been totally different. But and I will remind everybody when I said that I'm not putting it all on him because Drew Holiday should take a lot of the blame because he didn't play that well throughout the postseason. And, other guys didn't step up. Grayson Allen, so, I mean, come on. Thank you.
I love it. That's great. So
get off my ass, YouTube.
Mike, since you said you did not have a What You Got, we can actually use Ro here. Actually ask the question. He asked, what teams do we have in the finals this year?
Oh, that's an easy one.
You already know my pick.
What, Brooklyn versus Denver?
Yep. Michael Porter Jr. healthy, Kevin Durant healthy, Ben Simmons back, Jamal Murray back.
I mean, you might as well do like a parlay. Like on Bovada right now, Brooklyn is a plus 325 to win the East, and Denver's a plus 750 to win the West. So you might as well just like throw a little.
I'll do a futures bet, parlay that, and I'll retire.
Yeah, you might as well just throw a little parlay in there.
Super easy. Magic OKC finals. Book it.
Oh my god. Finals in terms of ping pong balls, like the final ping pong balls.
Yeah.
I think for me, in the finals, I think for me it's gonna be. I'm gonna go with Boston versus Dallas. I'm gonna go completely different than what most people are saying. I mean, the Boston one, a lot of people have. I get it because Boston, especially after last season, they got better from last season with a couple of the additions they made, and they have who should have been Coach of the Year, Ime Udoka.
And I'm not being funny here when I say this, but I think the Bucks are going to win the East this year.
Okay.
All right. So just make sure we go on record and say that I recognize that the Bucks could win. They're my favorite to win the East.
Okay.
Even more so if Chris Middleton stays healthy. And I see the Warriors, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks and Warriors ran it back.
Okay.
Or not run it back, but you know what I mean. Trying to be cool.
Yeah. I got you.
Utah.
They're definitely in the running for last ping pong ball. So we appreciate the questions, by the way, Ro. Also appreciate you watching. Really appreciate that.
Why Ro or Ro? Whatever it is.
I'm just gonna say Ro.
Yeah, Ro.
If I do a 3-part parlay.
Okay.
With, I don't know the math on this, plus 41,000. So I guess that means if I bet $100, win 41,000. Right. Brooklyn Nets to win the East, Denver Nuggets to win the West, and the University of Texas Longhorns to win the national championship.
Oh God. Why Texas?
Quinn Ewers, John Robinson, Matthew McConaughey.
Wait, are you talking about football or basketball?
Football.
Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know shit about college football. I just know Pitt beat West Virginia, and I'm happy.
You know how hard it is to say E.G. Leon?
Yijin Lan?
Is that how you say it?
Pretty sure.
E.G. Leon.
I miss him.
Remember Leon? That guy wasn't he on the Bucks?
I think he was.
I'm pretty sure he was on the Bucks.
The chairman.
Hold on. I'm about to check. Yeah, he was drafted by the Bucks. Good. That just ties it all together there. But anyway, my what you got. So, say you get to be the GM of a new NBA team, and the only condition is you have to pick between LaMelo Ball or Cade Cunningham to be the centerpiece of the team. Who do you pick and why? We'll go with Mike first.
It was Cade Cunningham, and who was the other guy?
LaMelo Ball.
Well, the two options really threw you off, huh?
I'm gonna go Cade.
Okay.
I think he's a little more stable. LaMelo is great, but I think he, you never know with the Ball family. He could, get involved in the wrong thing or something. Also, we know with Charlotte and Miles Bridges and Terry Rozier, or whoever the other guy was that got in trouble, Montrezl Harrell. We don't know what's going on in the water down there. So, I'm gonna go Cade. I think Cade's a player that's, he might not be the better player, but I think he's more of a guy you can build around, more of a stable asset, if you would. And I think, he's also my fantasy team. I did draft and trade LaMelo. I regret that trade to this day, but it is what it is. But that's why. That's part of why I said that. But I like Cade.
Okay.
I'm definitely rolling with Melo. And then if you put him and Lonzo, and then you had two balls on one team, that would be fantastic. But I'm such an advocate of the balls. You know what I mean? So, and like, you can't. But I mean, Lonzo Ball is another guy who doesn't get credit for being a quality player. Right. And I think LaMelo's a fantastic player. I think LaMelo's better than Lonzo, but I mean, Melo's young, but once he matures and gets older, I mean, this guy's going to be an all-star.
I mean,
and I said it before too. I said Melo has just as much of an upside as Luka does.
I mean, LaMelo definitely had, like, the sky is the limit for LaMelo. I mean, I think he's going to be over his entire career. I think he's going to be a fantastic player. And even with Cade Cunningham, I think Cade is also going to be good. I didn't believe in Cade at first, and he was very shaky to start out his rookie season and everything, but he definitely grew and definitely changed my mind a little bit about him as well. So I think Cade's still going to be a great player, but I'm leaning like 60-40 to LaMelo.
I mean, when are you talking about the water down there in Charlotte? Detroit's next to Flint, and Flint has garbage water.
I just meant everyone in Charlotte was getting in trouble with something.
Allegedly. I didn't say that. You did.
Allegedly. But I do agree that I think with LaMelo, like, to me, I don't know, right? Like, at this moment, and even projecting forward, I just feel as though LaMelo gives you a better person to build around and give you everything of what you may need. Cade, while I still think can be a good centerpiece and be a guy that's a floor general and a good point guard and everything, I just tend to lean more towards LaMelo Ball, especially because, like, in this day and age with how the game is and how LaMelo lives beyond the arc and everything like that, you have a lot of options to go with LaMelo. But I mean, even as I'm saying it, it's not like Cade Cunningham only has one type of player that you can put behind him and succeed. But yeah, I don't know. LaMelo just seems like a more all-around player to me.
That's shocking too, Mike, that you picked Cade Cunningham over LaMelo, because I thought you liked balls.
I had a feeling there was a joke about that coming somewhere in there.
I'm like a fucking fourth grader. I'm trying to get as many ball jokes in there as possible.
By the way, according to Bovada, Charlotte's over-under for their regular season wins is 36.5, and Detroit's is 28.5. Do you think either one of them gets over or no?
Oh, Detroit could get over 28 wins.
I think they could too.
I think they could too, but they'll have some growing pains. Charlotte, if they can get Bridges back, but I don't know what's going to happen with Bridges.
True. And they lost a lot of, like, bench players and different pieces that I don't know. I don't know how they're going to be.
I don't know. They got Kelly Oubre.
True. He's going to step in. We're going to see. And to finish things off, Ro here actually said he has the Bulls winning it all. What do we think about that?
Well, Chicago was my pick last year. I loved Chicago last year. And they started off great.
I think Chicago's a good team, but I don't see them even coming close. Especially because the East itself got better. Like, I just don't see... I don't see Chicago being able to beat Philly, even Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Boston, or, I mean, right now, not even Cleveland in a 7-game series.
Well, what's going to hurt, though, Chicago, is that Lonzo's not... They don't expect him to start the season, so that's going to hurt them, especially if he misses
and Miami.
months.
I don't see them beating Miami either.
Nah, fuck Miami. Sick of them.
I mean, they still show up in the playoffs, though.
They do?
They got to
Jimmy
the Eastern
Butler
Conference
was
Finals.
the only. Jimmy Butler was the only because of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was the only guy who was good consistently in the postseason.
Oh yeah, I know that. That's what I mean by Miami
Max
showing
Strus
up.
was better than Kyle Lowry was for Christ's sake.
Miami showing up is Jimmy Butler showing up. But I gotta say, if you're that high on Chicago winning it all, according to Bovada, to win the championship, Chicago is pretty low. They're down at plus 6,000. I'd throw some money on that if you're that confident. Hell, why not? But other than that, Ro, thank you for watching. I think that's it for us, unless you guys have anything else.
No.
Cool. Well, that's it for us. Thank you, everybody, for watching another episode of The Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell below for notifications when we go live, and all of our new videos. We'll probably post Dennis's apology or his statement, I should say, about Giannis for all those people. Yes, his prepared statement. So they can understand where Dennis is coming from. So
I'm still thinking nobody will understand.
Probably not. But we're going to do it for shits and gigs, so.
But I mean, if I offended anybody, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're not here to offend
I
people.
didn't mean to offend anybody.
We're here to shoot the shit and talk about basketball. That's really all it is. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you subscribe everywhere you get your podcast. We're everywhere, so check us out. Rate, review, subscribe. Thank you, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.